Welcome to the Gunpla Space Factory. It's been a while since the last build video, but I've got the factory up and running again, and today we are painting the classic Fett grunt suit, the glorious high-grade RGM-79 GM. But before I begin, I'd like to take the time to welcome all the new subscribers. We've gained over 100 subs since the last build video. The factory has reached 160 plus subs, and I'm super stoked. The factory is growing in numbers. I'm gonna start affectionately calling all of you the factory workers. I hope it's alright. Anyway, I picked up this kit for only $7.99, and to be honest, I'm not sure if it's a good kit or not. However, I'm a big fan of the Gundam grunt units, and the box art made this kit look very good. I always try to look for the good in the kits and not focus too much on the negatives. I can't wait to see what it looks like. With that said, let's begin the work shift. Let's do our best! I open the box and look over the contents. This is a relatively small box even for a high-grade kit. The GM is only comprised of 2 small runners and polycaps along with the instructions and a single sticker for the cockpit. The instructions are in Japanese, but after a quick glance, I can tell this is going to be a very simple kit to build. The color guide is in Japanese as well, but I'm mixing my own colors later, so it's no big deal. As expected, this was a very quick straight build, taking less than half an hour. This is a very simple kit, though it can't be helped as the GM was a very simple mech design to begin with. I actually really dig the GM's design as it accurately conveys the Fetty's concept of a reliably simple, mass production mobile suit. As a fan of the grunt units, I think it's freaking awesome. There isn't much in the way of details, but again, this is just the nature of the original GM design. There's a few panel lines here and there and some decent molded detail. After panel lining and a flat top coat, this GM would pretty much look spot on and anime accurate. And for an $8 kit, what more could you ask for? Still, I think taking the time to paint this kit will bring out its true potential. I can't wait to start work on this kit, but for now, we close up shop and get some rest. The real work starts tomorrow. After quickly disassembling the kit, I begin by gluing some of the parts to remove the seam lines. Using 400 grit sanding sponge, I sand away the excess plastic and level the surface. I apply Tamiya liquid surfacer to fill in pits and imperfections. After letting it cure for a couple of hours, I sand it down to a leveled, smooth finish. I also rescribed some of the panel lines that were partially filled in by the surfacer. After sanding and washing the rest of the parts, it's time to primer them. I mixed the usual 50-50 mix of Tamiya lacquer thinner and liquid surfacer and began spraying the primer coat. I will be spraying the primer with my trusty old Vega 1500 airbrush set at 20 psi. These are the parts after curing overnight. The instructions called for a relatively light shade of orange-red, but that color didn't look right to my eye. For the red parts, I mix a custom orange-red using Mr. Color GX1 white, GX3 red, and GX4 yellow. For the mint color parts, I mixed a softer mint white using Mr. Color GX1 white with a pinch of Tamiya X15 light green and X4 blue. After base coating all these parts, I let them cure overnight. The shield's trim and backside, along with the beam saver handles, were molded in the mint green plastic, but technically they're supposed to be a white color. I painted them white using decanted Tamiya white surfacer. For the yellow detail parts, I mix a custom orangey yellow using Mr. Color GX4 yellow with a pinch of GX3 red. I sprayed the Saber's beam effect with Tester's Create FX fluorescent pink. To enhance the details, I masked the parts and sprayed the joints and hands with Tamiya X10 gunmetal. Shiny. Don't touch it! I also paint the shield handle and thrusters with this color. I seal the metallic finish using Alclad Aqua Gloss Clear Top Coat. This clear coat is especially formulated to not interact with the metallic effect, as regular clear coats tend to dull it out. To get some color separation going, I mask the backpack and tops of the feet to paint these panels in a dark gray color. This will enhance the look of these parts. Unmasking painted parts to reveal the detail and color separation is very satisfying. It's like unwrapping a tiny present. Since the GM doesn't have much detail, I'm doing my best to squeeze out as much of it as I possibly can wherever I can find it. Tamiya tape and masking is your best friend for this kind of thing. The bottom of the feet have decent molded details that can be brought out with some masking, paint, and a bit of patience. Using some scotch tape and a very sharp hobby knife, I take my time and slowly cut out the areas to be painted. For both the feet and backpack thrusters, I have a flat black and metallic two-tone color scheme in mind. I spray these areas first with Tamiya flat black and hit them with a clear coat to protect them. This two-tone paint adds some much needed detail, and I think this effect looks pretty neat. After more masking and cutting, I also paint these pads in flat black. I'm not sure why, but I'm getting this weird 70s Ferrari vibe from these feet. Next, I mask the cockpit area and paint this panel black. A little bit of the paint bled through the masking tape, but this can easily be buffed out and touched up. To make the Vulcan cannons on the head look a bit better, I bored them out with a micro hand drill. As you can see, it looks much better and more realistic. After painting them yellow, it makes them really pop. The rear camera has to be painted. I used Tamiya X25 clear green. As I began to wrap up production, I began panel lining using Tamiya Panel Line Accent Color Gray. I seal it all in with a final coat of Alclad Flat Clear Coat. Here's the parts after curing overnight. And at last, the final assembly. I can't wait to see the end result. Here it is, the gloriously heroic RGM-79 GM, ready for the front lines of the most brutal battles of the 1-year war. These heroic mechs and their pilots, through sheer numbers and sacrifice, finally brought the fight to the Xenomorphs, and usually paid the ultimate price to obtain victory for the Federation. Painting the GM has really brought it to life. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised. Taking the time to flesh out the details was worth it. It really helps this kit stand out a bit more. I highly recommend this kit for those learning the ropes of airbrushing, as it is relatively easy to paint and detail. Not bad for an $8 kit, not bad at all. If you liked the build video and would like to see more like these, please subscribe and hit that bell notification button to get notified as soon as I upload the next video. If you'd like to keep up with me regularly, I have a Twitter account as well. Link is down in the description below. Anyway, if you have any suggestions or feedback, leave them down in the comments below. I read most of the comments I receive and do my best to reply to your questions. The work shift is finished for the day. Thank you for your hard work. I'll see you on the next video.